Every time it goes silent.
Yeah, it's on Chrome right here. It should just show up exactly, okay?
The lady who gets voted for black bread.
Wait, yeah, he moves fast.
You just don't.
It's their generation. What?
Even in old, I'll give you one.
What happened?
Yes, I've seen that.
And it's bro, there's
different.
that makes no sense. How is one guy texting iMessages and the other one
That's how we're.
Oh, you see that? What was
And one of the interns asked me, like one of the other interns was like, "Oh, where are your degrees from?" And I was like, "Oh,
I look like a marshmallow.
And then he was like, "Oh,
Look at this.
like,
What was that marshmallow?
I was like, I mean, I only have.
Why is she running into this?
Which
is already more than the average.
And then he was like,
I
"Oh,
would be so mad.
I thought you were like 26 and had already like graduated from grad school and like, and then I was like, excuse me, do I look like?"
No, that's okay.
English making this.
Yeah,
This
so some
goes
people,
hard.
it's their first time like seeing the paper, like, right now I'm coding on the house.
This, like,
Hello, everyone, and welcome to FIU in Washington, D.C. My name is Dr. Michelle Castro. I serve as the director here, working with our students and interns. Our program today is Space, Aerospace, and Innovation Flying, and our students are going to do their hackathon recap of what they experienced here in Washington, D.C. with answering a particular prompt that we had. And so the prompt is actually: propose a model or policy framework that leverages university research, private investment, and government leadership to expand the space economy, bolster national security, and ensure U.S. strategic dominance in the emerging era of space commercialization. Consider how entities like Space Florida, NASA, and higher education institutions can collaborate to align innovation, workforce development, and infrastructure for a resilient space future. The students have been here for 3 days. This is the closing portion of their trip. And we have 16 students, so I'll introduce themselves as they do their presentation. So we are excited. So we'll bring up our first team. Come on up.
Hi everyone, how are you? We are team number 1 going to present today, and to get it up. There you go. That one over there.
So I think when we go on there, we can all introduce ourselves.
Alright, then we need to
You're gonna paint for a second, make it larger. Okay.
Is that big enough for everybody?
Is that good? Okay, perfect.
Yeah, really.
Okay, cool. So we're going to start off with introductions. My name is Nicole James, and I am a hospitality and tourism management major here at FIU. And I came to this fly-in to learn more about just the evolution of space research and also space tourism.
So yeah, my name's Alejandro Cuevas. I'm a cybersecurity student at FIU. Reason for the fly-in is my interest in space policy and particularly how we can develop further our interest in Florida.
Going off of that, hi everyone, my name is Nicholas Hing. Feel free to call me Nick. I'm a fourth-year mechanical engineering student with a strong passion for aerospace engineering, and that's also my reason for coming to this fly-in, to engage more with the aerospace scene here in DC.
Hey everyone, my name is John Paul Lopez. I'm an information technology student. The purpose of this fly-in for me is to explore the intersectionality between public sector and private sector with the commercialization of space.
So to start off our presentation, we have from lab to launch, to innovate to command. So our whole purpose here with our presentation is to kind of put FIU at the forefront of space in Florida as being the biggest public university, research university in Florida. And we have a lot of opportunity and a lot of engaging students, especially in the engineering field, who express their interest with aerospace. So our presentation is really guided into kind of expanding FIU's community with space and providing more opportunities for our students to have connections with Space Florida and to use all our resources that we have in Florida, like the Kennedy Space Center, etc.
All right, so with that, we're going to outline the primary model for the proposed plan that we have, right? So this little flow chart right here is the current, our current understanding of the standard model for education to career for any given major, but for this, for the purposes here, we're going to focus on predominantly aerospace, national defense, cybersecurity, any of those kinds of fields, right? So education begins first at the university level, right? The university is the one in charge of creating the curriculum, which is this little EDU bubble right over here. And then this education from the university is then transferred over to a student from classes, for different programs, whatever the university is offering in order to educate the students on the subject matter that they're majoring in, that they're interested in whatever case. But at the end of the day, there isn't a certainty or a guarantee of delving into a particular field that's within their major or within their interest, right? Especially for, speaking for personal experience as a mechanical engineer. You ask anyone at the EC campus whether or not they think that any of their coursework is going to get them an actual job. Chances are 95% of them is going to say no. I see Sophia nodding her head yes, so she already knows what that's about. Sebastian, I'm sure you could definitely agree as well. So this is just the current understanding of the standard model of education, right? Our solution comes in by incorporating government organizations and private sector funding and additional other university entities as well to also integrate into the education, right? So again, we have FIU, we have the creating the education, and also that's going to the students. So the standard model doesn't entirely disappear, but at the same time, we're also getting additional funding, additional resources, additional effort from other universities, possibly, from private sector funding, possibly, or government organizations. So it could be 1, 2, 3, a different combination of either or. But again, this isn't something that could just be limited to aerospace or, to national defense, cybersecurity, AI. This could be across all fields, right? So this is a model that is multifaceted and multifunctional as well, right? So other sources feeding the opportunities for, say, research funding, like how we have our Colrad lab at the engineering center at FIU, right? We also have fellowships. There's many fellowship programs that, even engineers, it's not even just limited to engineers, even for hospitality, communications, international relations. There's a bunch of fellowships that happen in that regard. Internship opportunities, even early career opportunities are opened up through the involvement of other entities into the education, right? And so to kind of give you a more specific example, let's put it this way, right? Let's pretend that these arrows, these yellow arrows, are Space Florida, right? This is pretty much an entity that acts as a mediator between private sector and the government of Florida as far as education for aerospace field. Right? So we take private sector, let's pretend Elon, SpaceX, right here. Government organization, NASA, right? Other university, say UCF, UF, or something like that. One of those universities that dominates right now in the state of Florida as far as aerospace engineering goes. We could partner with them through Space Florida and through other initiatives, partnering with SpaceX and partnering with possibly even NASA in order to integrate their practices, to integrate their practical outlook on what students should be leaving their degree with, and that integrates directly into the education. So it's no longer we're learning how propulsion works, but we're also learning how to directly apply that and how that directly goes into these different organizations that are ultimately funding and enhancing the education of these different students. And I'll use one final personal anecdote, but also personal experience as well. 2 years ago, I took a Programming 1 course that was a Programming 1 course that had a Google, forgot how to specifically say it, but it was a Google Fellows program where they had someone from Google come in and teach the Programming 1 class, and that became an excellent opportunity for the programming students, predominantly computer science majors, to be able to network with the officials and for people at Google. And then that springboards their career forward because they already have that connection from the get-go just by going to class. They don't need to graduate. They don't need an internship. They don't need anything of the sort because just by virtue of being in the class and having a private sector entity like Google pour into the education, that student is now reaping specific and tangible rewards for something like that. And then we see that the ultimate finish of this pipeline is that the students are then able to feed back into the government organizations or to the private sector, even to other universities, but ultimately it feeds right back into FIU, right? Because that ultimately, it pretty much, not expends, but it ultimately enhances our bottom line to continually have things that benefit FIU as a university, but also benefits our interests for national defense, benefits our interests for aerospace enhancements, and also benefits us as far as space hospitality and the study of different space systems. So with that.
Thank you so much. After what Nicholas had just established, what we're talking about is creating a standard and a foundation between private and public sector. So going off of that, what he had just mentioned is creating this integrated ecosystem that is living and breathing, all interconnected with nuances. So we're not just talking about creating opportunities, we're also talking about using opportunities and how do I say this, to articulate, we're basically utilizing what we already have. We already have a space sectors here in Central Florida, and we're already building off of it. So how do we bring it here to Miami? So with that being said, we're not just creating opportunities with different universities, with different companies, we're also using new ways to bring that together that targets these three domains specifically that has our national securities interests. First off, we have aerospace, cybersecurity, and artificial intelligence. This is what our nation's primary focus is on and what space is able to bring into. I got you. Thank you. So with these nuances of public and private sector, what we bring into with all of these three domains is what leads into over here a potential opportunity to increase FIU's reputation from a national standpoint and also from Florida's perspective. Currently, what we have done research on was looking into what does FIU particularly specializes in and what we could provide to an entire group of young undergraduate, graduate, and PhD students who have an interest in the space sector with those three different domains that we had just targeted. So a quick fact would be that UCF awarded over 200 aerospace engineering degrees in 2021, and that is continuously increasing, especially as they strengthen their alliances with other public universities, NASA, and Space Florida. So what we're talking about with this integrated ecosystem is that Space Florida acts as that intermediary and also that catalyst of being able to interface with so many different groups and how can we use those groups to invest back into FIU. So if we want to break that down into numbers, because we all want to make money, we all want to make FIU great again, we are talking about if we just had 100 of those students who had an interest in aerospace degree, just 100 with an average tuition rate of $6,000 excluding other fees, that would warrant over $2.5 million in tuition revenue per graduating class. That is an exciting opportunity that targets directly into all of the exciting research labs that we have here at FIU. Those aerospace graduates could go on to our many research labs, and within those research labs actually make applicable use cases that would go back into these private companies and go back into the public sector as well. So we could turn this around and yield more annual return by investing into our students and directly targeting this underrepresented group with the aerospace degree, but also taking care of Miami students, putting them first, so they don't have to go out to other universities in Florida or across the country when we can take care of them directly over here.
So yeah, to add to what JP said, not only would a new degree program like that, and what we mentioned on kind of students here, when they graduate high school and they have an interest in working for these defense contractors or even government agencies, usually what we offer for engineering, we don't really offer an aerospace degree. That is something that we want to go ahead and change. And ultimately, the student's left with the decision of, I want to go to FIU, but they don't offer this degree. So it's either I pursue this other degree, or I end up going to another university. And I think that's the case with a lot of students that have met that they're at FIU and they're pursuing a different type of field of engineering due to the fact we don't have an aerospace degree. And this results in them depending on a club organization rather than a program that will give them the skills with the involvement of government agencies and private sector.
Also, just to add on, as a hospitality student, I always look at what are we giving to our local community? What are we bringing to Miami by trying to create a new space hub in Miami? And besides the growing attention that Miami already has by growing as a financial and tech hub, bringing in space will allow us to expand Miami's diversity in so many specializations through business, space, again, tech, finance, and just expanding our space community just through FIU. We have a lot of resources. We have new engineering facilities. We have great labs that we can use, and just creating a more designated aerospace program, either through the workforce development program that we kind of offered or through other ways that we can kind of like come to agreement. It will greatly benefit all the students that really want to be involved with aerospace, and then put FIU sort of on the map with Space Florida, and then also NASA.
What's the next one?
Right. So ultimately, what we can take away from all this, and we could see very plainly in bold fonts on the slide, is that ultimately this kind of plan being implemented and yielding the fruits that that, as desired, would be a net positive for Florida International University. Again, as a mechanical engineering student who loves aerospace, has a passion for it, would love to pursue it as a career, I feel like there definitely are those missed opportunities that we have as far as, catering to that strong desire, which is definitely there. It's not just myself, but a lot of other engineering students that want to be involved in aerospace. But we do have the options, we have the funding, we have the connections, we have so many resources at our disposal in order to really bring this kind of dream to life, to really make Miami the space hub that we want it to be. That way it doesn't have to just be Kennedy Space Center up in Central Florida. That way we don't have to worry about California eventually overtaking us just because we were dawdling around too much and just not concerned about what was going on in our backyard. Man, it would ultimately be a net positive for the state of Florida because it brings more of that aerospace business to us. It warrants a net positive for Miami because now that's bringing more business into the local area, and that's also benefiting a lot of the hospitality business, a bunch of different fields of expertise as well. And then it ultimately, again, it benefits FIU. It puts us higher than other universities. It brings more students that have a passion for aerospace into our university. It gives us the opportunity to then teach those students, to raise them up, and to be able to recontribute back into our own city, to our own state, and to bring about, a new era of just advancements in aerospace and every field that, benefits this national security interest. So, with that being said, questions? Anybody? Dinah.
Okay, so.
I'll pass.
What happened? Oh.
Yeah.
We can take one question.
Okay, so with your program, do you guys have a specific sort of class that you're excited to implement?
As of right now, there isn't any specific class that I would say that right off the top of my head that I can say that we're excited to implement. I have been in talks with the current one of the current leading aerospace professors, Dr. Dwayne McDaniel, and he's expressed to me, the fact that we do have an astrodynamics course. We do have courses meant to design aerospace systems. But man, we could bring so many other classes that would help in that aerospace field to develop the skills of these aerospace engineers and even potentially bring in a degree program altogether. Because right now we're simply just offering these classes just as electives, right? These are just elective options for either, to fulfill a design credit, to fulfill some sort of a math requirement or a physics requirement. But at the end of the day, if there's a passion for what these classes actually teach, man, maybe we could take that and bring some other classes in and use the expertise of our current staff, of our current faculty to cultivate a new kind of degree or opportunity for students to pursue academically that brings about, this aerospace degree and brings about, prosperity in aerospace here in Miami. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
We'll now have our next presentation. Thank you.
Hi guys, I'm a business administration student here at FIU. I'm very grateful to have been a part of this fly-in. So we'll go ahead and...
Hi, I'm Eric Slater. As of right now, I'm a hospitality student, changing majors next semester, and this experience has opened my eyes to different horizons.
Hi everyone, my name is Madeline Brock and I'm an international relations student here at FIU, or back in Miami at FIU. I'm going to be here in DC next semester. I'm really excited to be a part of this program.
Hello everyone, my name is Julian Hernandez and I am a cybersecurity major. My interest in this program was seeing the advancements of space technologies and seeing if I could see anything that involves the militarization of space. So thank you all for joining us today to hear about the exciting initiative of Florida International University's Space Innovation and Development Hub. So why is this important, you may ask? The space economy is growing rapidly, and if we focus on integrating innovative technology development and policy advancement and a skilled workforce all in one place, our hub at FIU will be exactly that. We envision creating a powerful catalyst for aerospace innovation and workforce development right here in South Florida. This hub will be anchored by a state-of-the-art multi-industry research facility built and operated by FIU, but designed to bring together Space Florida, NASA, and private investors and emerging aerospace companies under one roof. Central to this vision in our Space Innovation Fellowship Program, this is a dynamic workforce development initiative offering two distinctive tracks, engineering and policy. The engineering track focuses on hands-on learning in areas like orbital mechanics, robotics, systems engineering, and space cybersecurity. Students and fellows will conduct real-world projects in our advanced labs alongside experts from government and industry. The policy track targets space law, national security, commercial regulation, and governance, training future leaders who will shape the rules, strategies, and ethics guiding America's space activities. These credentials allow participants to tailor their learning experiences, progressing through focused topics that prepare them for their careers or advanced study. At the same time, the hub builds a talent pipeline directly connected to internships, mentorships, and jobs with NASA, Space Florida, and private partners. Beyond workforce development, the hub fosters collaboration with startups and established companies, accelerating technology, commercialization, and serving as a policy innovation center. This combination ensures it is not just a place for learning, but a powerhouse for creating the technologies and strategies that will secure America's future in space. The FIU Space Innovation and Development Hub is an integrated ecosystem combining cutting-edge research facilities and robust workforce fellowship program and collaborative partnerships. It supports the rapid advancement of aerospace technologies while producing the skilled professionals and policy experts critical for national security and economic growth. We invite you to join us in making this vision a reality, strengthening Florida's position as a leader in the space economy and helping America maintain its strategic edge. Thank you all. And any questions? Thank you guys.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Now, group number 3.
Nice job. Yay, go Julia. Oh. Nobody will ever forget the year. Yes, like 4 on it. Oh my god.
Amazon one.
They took that. I'm in. Oh, you're such a white side. That's crazy. Thank you. Crazy. Oh, thanks so much. Great job.
Based on everything they've done.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alexandra Bishop, but I also go by Lexi. I'm a political science major at FIU, and I've also been focusing on space for the past few years, mostly in national security aspects, looking at dual-use technologies.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sebastian Vargas. I'm a mechanical engineering graduate student, my first year. I'm currently working in robotic systems and sensor integration with the nuclear sector, but aerospace has always been a long-standing passion of mine, and I'm here at DC exploring the different opportunities we have here to applying my degree as well as policymaking into aerospace.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sofia Rodriguez. I'm a third-year mechanical engineering student, and I'm so excited about this flying that we just came to because I've always had an interest in space and aerospace in general, so yeah.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ashley Rodriguez. I'm a senior. I'm a communications student with an interest in space, aerospace, and innovation, and those are the topics that I want to cover as a communications in my career.
Next slide, please. All right, so we want to develop a space policy program, and it's modeled off of DARPA's R&D programs, which provide benefits and curated tasks to different universities. That way we know what the government's asks are specifically, and we can target those needs through different innovation. And what we are planning to do is link Florida universities, industries, and governments. So what we want to do is we want to create a space board involving Space Florida, as well as different industries that we already have locally, because Florida is a great hub. We have NASA. We have so many different opportunities, but we also want to link universities as well, because it is important to build off of different academic aspects. So what we want to do is to create different grants from both public and private sector to the university and industry teams. And that would be seed money for prototyping, because obviously mechanics is a great aspect into aeronautics and aerospace. But we also want to identify and build off of policy as well, because space policy, though it is lagging behind innovation, is very important moving forward. And the success will be measured by the new technologies created and actually put into use with these different teams of both universities, industry, and government collaborating together.
Okay, so as you guys have already heard, FIU does not have an aerospace program for getting a degree, an undergrad or grad, and our mission is to plant the seed, so to build the aerospace program at FIU to be able to put us on the map. So creating an aerospace research and center labs would be amazing for students to get that information and all of the different ideas and and establish partnerships with state and federal aerospace entities, and also collaborate with industries and specific projects to be able to talk to those different partnerships and stay with state and federal aerospace entities, so that we can make the end goal to create an undergrad and graduate aerospace academic programs at FIU.
Right. And one idea we had to kind of initiate this entire project that we have here is to do a demo day. And this demo day is consisting of not only FIU displaying new technologies and research there, but also having other universities in the state and collaborate to showcase new technologies and research done on all of Florida, not just Miami. And also, we want to invite potential industry partners. So that would be NASA, Lockheed, all those partners you can think of, but we also want to try to find partners that we have not had any partnerships with, so we can invite them in and potentially have more research, more funding, all those things.
And as Ashley said, we want to invite partners. That's our main goal, to collaborate with government, with private industries. And the way we want to do this, we want to create our industry outreach. We want to use existing conferences that are out there. They're huge and people go to them. We want FIU to have a presence in those conferences once we have this program up and running, and tell them, hey, we exist. We are doing this. Come to us and we'll get stuff done for you. We want them to invite them to network with FIU and give them a good excuse to come to Miami, experience the beach, the sunshine, and get some really important work done. And we want to fund students to go to these conferences and demo these projects, these technologies to industry. Because as a personal experience, I am part of the DOE workforce program. We go and demo these technologies in Phoenix, in Augusta, and various other conferences. And the way that the students speak about this, my personal experience with it is that these conferences are basically one of your lifelines, your bread and butter, in order to extend these technologies to other companies and getting these contracts for FIU. So thank you. If you have any questions.
Thank you, everyone. Now our last and final group. Please.
I know. So I'm part of the presentation.
Ryan, hit the pin button behind you.
Bottom right.
Right here.
Oh, there we go. Cool. All right. Good evening, distinguished guests. My name is Colin Brandt, and our team is focusing on FIU's potential contributions to the aerospace innovation. So just a little bit of an introduction about each of us. I'm going to pass around the mic to each of them, and we can all introduce ourselves. Me personally, I come from a background of military intelligence, so I'm a little bit familiar. I was in the Air Force, so I'm a little bit familiar with some of the systems we have in the military, and I'm also a little bit familiar with what we have here at FIU, that could potentially contribute to aerospace innovation. So I'll hand the mic to you.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I am Gaetaina Florestal, and I am a pre-law student majoring in marketing and project management. I'm very excited to have had this opportunity to come here today, and I hope that you guys find our presentation very innovative.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ryan Burton. I come from a background in data analytics, and I'm currently pursuing my graduate degree in engineering management with a concentration in forecasting analytics.
Hi everyone, my name is Ashley Janos. I am a criminal justice major and in the intelligence fellowship as well.
So just to start off, FIU has a couple different technologies that we can utilize in order to better the aerospace industry. The first one, we have a cold spray lab in our co-ride department in the engineering center. These can, what our systems can do, it's like basically a giant 3D printer, right? It can print metals, polymers, ceramics, and titanium, aluminum. So that's very valuable, and it can be very valuable to use in the aerospace industry for quick and on-the-spot repairs. And a lot of students have already been starting to make just unique things with these systems, right? So they've made like motorcycle parts, drill and wrench sockets, and just other metal components in general. So you can kind of see where this would become in use in the aerospace industry, just for quick parts. you could make something like a propeller or something. And just a little bit of an introduction to the wall of wind. That's also another very important thing that FIU has. In fact, we looked it up, and it even has its own Wikipedia page. So it's very interesting. And we were just and that can also be utilized in that field to test like weather conditions for some of our systems, our aircraft systems. And that doesn't necessarily have to be even here in Florida either, even though that's where we get most of the storms, and that's where most of that would be tested. That could also be tested like weather on other planets like Mars, because Mars has its own atmosphere and weather. So just something to think about. Next slide, please.
So talking about different research projects is fun, but it's also we have to keep in mind that we have to make sure we get them off the ground. So a second step that we were thinking of was also private investment. So while we would like to shoot for the stars with companies like SpaceX and Lockheed Martin, we also wanted to take a moment to look at companies that locally are involved with educational institutions in Florida, such as L3 Harris or Northrop Grumman. So we want to look into private investment and how that could benefit FIU. As we all know, investment is not only monetary, but also can be temporal, such as investing your time into developing students or also pipelining them into your organization. So we also wanted to focus on maybe seeing if companies like L3 Harris or other aerospace companies would want to take on research that FIU is currently doing and maybe help use that to propel it into the future. FIU is known for being a very good source of tech talent, especially statewide in the state of Florida, such as hosting even events like Shell Hacks, which educational institutions from across the state come to Miami for just to compete in that hackathon. So we wanted to really see how local companies could help privately invest into FIU research efforts.
So I will be talking about national security initiatives. So currently, there's different satellites that are helping throughout the world, but most importantly, now there's a new innovative satellite that CBP will be using in order to help and detect certain organized crimes and just criminals in general from crossing the border. This is a help of a satellite, and it will help with facial recognitions and also giving a background of all these criminals that are trying to pass or cross from the border. As well as we have the emergency weather response, and this will be local and national weather prediction. This improvement, and it also helps within when we have satellites, basically like they help seeing the hurricanes like from above, and we can see the progress of the hurricane or the tropical storm growing. And with the help of one of the innovative FIU things that we have is the wall of wind, where it can show demonstrate a Category 5 or a Category 6 hurricane as well. And this is all within the help of satellites.
Okay, so now we're going to kind of get to where everything that we've discussed so far comes together. So, phase one, I'm going to call it, is kind of where we integrate research at our university with these companies like NASA, Space Florida, and lower level companies as well. So that kind of deals with the research that he was talking about, especially with the cold spray. For example, right now, we're not necessarily using the cold spray lab in a larger scale. It's more small and kind of in-house. So we kind of want to use that as an opportunity to grow it more and kind of use it to work on space innovation. Also, our second tier was the private investment bridge. You kind of gave all that. And third tier kind of talks about this, which is the Space Venture Capitalist Network. So it has three sections, and it goes with discover, fund, and reinvest. So with discovering, we're talking about identifying promising FIU university research, and for example, what I just discussed, and also kind of starting a program where students can work on dual-use tech. And then for funding, we would pair them with investors through curated pitch sessions. So This comes with a kind of apprenticeship opportunity for students in business, law, and marketing to kind of help assess and prepare pitches and also meet and shadow potential investors along with admin during the meetings. And then reinvest is we'll take the profits from the successful ventures and feed them back into the fund. Incentives for investors would be like tax credits, visibility and branding, and access to dual use innovation, and also young talent. I think we know now at this point that FIU has lots of young talent, and they'll have direct access to us and kind of using us potentially in the future. MIT also has like a similar program, and I feel like this would really help us with like bridging the gap and kind of coming full circle. I also wanted to talk about at the end or like maybe like an annual space culture festival that we can kind of host through this program, and that would be like a student-led situation that kind of celebrates the intersection of space, innovation, and culture, and that is also where I feel like the students can showcase what they've been working on throughout the year. So it'll kind of be like a NSA meets Art Basel meets TED Talk. Yeah.
And that'll be it for us. Does the room have any questions? If not, we'll wrap it up. Cool. That was it. Thank you for listening to our presentation.
Thank you, everyone. Great job. We do have a few guests in our room that are helping us give some feedback. So it's not a competition. It actually is more of an opportunity for some engagement from some of our alumni that are in the room and friends, but mainly alumni. From different ages here, groups, years within the university. So, and internship opportunities that they've had as well here in Washington, D.C.
Okay, well, I thought all of you guys did really great. It was, I know, very difficult to kind of stand up there and present, and especially, I don't know how long, I don't know how long you guys had to put it together, so kudos to you. I thought it was really, really good. I had some observations. It's not a critique. It's just my personal thoughts from hearing many, many people come up and make presentations. For group one, I thought it was really good how you mentioned other universities and bringing them in, but it would have been good to give like examples exactly what would entice other universities to join your program that you talked about. As you know, universities compete for funding. So what would it be that would entice them to partner with FIU, right? So that was a question that I had, and I was waiting to kind of like find out how you would bring that in, and I didn't hear it. Maybe I missed it. So that was just one thing. But I loved how everybody kind of had a slide distributed and spoke to each slide. I think a group project, even if you're not good at speaking or you don't feel that much comfort in it, I think when you come out as a team, everybody should do something. And that's my critique of group two. So it's good that you elect one person, but everybody, if you're going to have a short slide presentation and you guys all did as a team, then everybody should have like one slide. That's what I would recommend on that. On the group three, I really like group three. I thought that, I know we're not supposed to pick favorites, but I think it had everything because it said, this is our program. This is why we need it. This is how we would implement it. This is how our students would be involved, right? This is how we get private equity in, get the funding, and this would be the result. So when you're making a presentation, it's always good to have, I told the people that I mentor, a story, right? This is the issue that we have, this is how we're gonna address it, and this is what we want at the end. Because sometimes if you're listening to a presentation like you guys had, and if the audience has questions and they don't get answered, then it kind of says, you say to yourself, like, what was the point of that specific presentation? Like, yes, FIU does have it, right? All of these technologies, and we want to showcase it, and we want to entice companies, yes, but then you're waiting for the how, how. And then if that answered, then the whole presentation kind of is beginning to end. It begins and it closes. So I thought everybody did really great. The fourth presentation was really good. My favorite part, I would have just used the last slide, to tell you the truth, the CVCN or SVCN. I thought that captured everything. Like that slide for me, I love that you guys took the time to look for sometimes words on a slide. I find to this day is so boring. I love when people kind of just speak and then have the slides or a video or something like that going on. Because if you're going to read what it says there, it's like, for me, that's sleep time, right? So I love the last slide because, like I said, it captured what's the issue, how do we address it, how do we involve the FIU. It had like everything in there. I would have just made my whole presentation that last slide. So thank you very much. I could tell you guys worked really well.
Thank you very much.
Hi, everybody. I'm Frank Gomez. I graduated in 2024 from the Green School, and I'm here in DC in grad school. Thank you guys for your presentations. I'm going to be quick, but I have some thoughtful feedback that I jotted down as I paid attention to everybody's presentations. So you guys might want to take notes because some of the things crossed into each other. So for a lot of the teams, you guys ran out of time. You were allotted 5 minutes, and I think that you guys really should have kept it within the time. That way you can continue to have the audience's attention. So if the instructions were to be 5 minutes, it's important to keep to that. However, I think you guys did an overall really good job of answering the questions. You guys were presented with a complex and long questions that had like multi-pronged process. I think all of the teams, and that's something I did notice, talked about the combination of the university's research, private sector, and government in order to answer the three problems, which were how would it expand the space economy, national security, and space commercialization. So for the first team, again, ran out of time there, but I think you guys did a really good job of doing the visuals. So having those arrows were really useful. You didn't use a lot of text. Instead, you had a lot of abbreviations that were commonly known. So I think that was a good job there. Kudos to that. In particular as well, when you guys were speaking, you connected to the crowd by using personal examples and anecdotes. When you said students at the engineering campus would feel like this, it's something that really connects and to your audience, and I think was very beneficial there. So good job with that. For team two, good job for being on time, and I think it was a really well done. You guys don't need a script. I don't think any of the teams needed a script. So for this type of presentation where it's short, you should know the topic. There's nothing too crazy about the things that you're speaking about. It's not high stakes, right? This is not for a grade. You don't need a script. Even if it's for a grade, you probably won't need a script. My recommendation is if you do need a script, sometimes you do need something to keep track of what's going on, and that's okay. I have one here with me too. But do not use your phone. Pretend you got to plan for all alternatives. So what happens if the battery runs out? What happens if you get a call in the middle of that presentation? And also it just doesn't look good. So no phones. But really good job. I think Team 2 leveraged and really leaned on the university's research. So you leaned on what is good about FIU in order to try to attract private investment. So kudos to that. Really good PowerPoint as well that used very little words. Very small amount of words, because I'll get to the little words now with group number 3. So group number 3, also good job on staying on time within the 5 minutes. The text was a little bit too small. I have a visual impairment, and from the back, I couldn't really read what was going on. Another thing about it was the text was small, and it seemed like it was only using a portion of the available space you had in your slide. Like a third of your slide was text, and the rest was blank space. So be cognizant. Sometimes people can't see, and if you are going to use text, make sure it's big enough. For that reason, maybe use less words. This goes for everybody, right? So take notes on everybody's, because I think this is helpful. So don't use a lot of words, as mentioned before. Use pictures. People like pictures. Think about how you would want something as an audience member. But group number 3, amazing job that everybody spoke equally. And again, this feedback applies to everybody on how you should apply this. So I felt that all the team members, everybody had a slide, and it was well organized as you transitioned through ideas. You communicated the ideas well and really sold the audience on the innovation of FIU. So I think good job, Team 3. Team number 4 also went a little bit over time. And another same note on the slides, think about accessibility and people that may not be able to see very well. There was very small text on a white background. You don't have to get creative and put crazy things on your slides like transitions, but just be cognizant about the size there. Group number 4, though, I think did a really, really good job about doing the intros at the beginning. Not only did you share, because I think everybody's practiced your elevator pitch before, so I got to know what you're studying, that you guys are a very diverse crew. Not everybody comes from engineering and aerospace, but there's policy folks, actual engineering folks, hospitality, right? So I got to know that from all the groups because everybody did a good job of doing your elevator pitch. However, shout out to team number 4 as well, because I think that in yours, you leverage the personal connection, like I spoke about another team, but also you spoke about your knowledge and expertise on the subject. You said, hey, my family works in this, or I've studied this, or I'm about to tell you about this subject, and this is what I know about it. And if you take a public speaking course, they're going to hammer into you of when you do your introduction at the beginning, like, why are you qualified to speak on this subject? So team number 4, shout out for giving a little bit. I know you guys, that it's hard because you don't have a lot of time, and not all presentations are built equally. But again, all this feedback I think is helpful for everybody. And I think number 4 did really good about connecting existing research, again, for FIU, and answering the 3 problems, which was space security and commercialization. One final note, and this one is for everybody. So if you're still with me and taking notes, this was an exercise not only in the content of what you were presenting, but if you realize this is an exercise on time management. How well did you use and organize your time that you were given to prepare these presentations? And these are skills that are going to serve you well in your professional and academic career. So not only how did you use your time, did you do an outline with your team? Did you start building how you were going to answer your narrative during your PowerPoint? So think about time management, not only in the planning phase, but then in your execution. Did you stay to the 5 minutes? Did you get any chance to practice? I know it's hard. This is about working under pressure, right? You were not given enough time. You were not given the right technology. You were not given the right amount of directions. And that is how the real world is. So you had to work with limited information to be able to produce something that was quality, and all the teams produced something that was quality. We're just here to give you constructive feedback. You practice your public speaking, amazing. There was not one team member anywhere that and or was doing anything that was wrong in public speaking. You guys are stars there, but you were able to practice your public speaking in front of everyone. Just don't have your phones in front of you. Teamwork and leadership. I walked around and looked at the teams. You guys had to see that since you had a limited amount of time and everybody wanted to present your ideas, you had to be little diplomats within your team. And some ideas trumped others. There was time that was about to run out, and you really had to like play politics within your team. So this was a leadership exercise. And finally, your willingness to answer questions. How cool was it that we didn't tell you how many minutes you were going to have for questions, or if you should add a slide at the end for questions, and everybody did so. So that's amazing. Your willingness and ability to answer questions. So all these skills were put to the test today, and I think you guys kicked butt.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. With that, we are done with our hackathon. We hope that everyone enjoyed, is taking back some extra knowledge, and that we are gearing up for the future of what space resiliency looks like and what we're looking at in the future. So thank you.